Hey y'all, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Absolutely April. I'm here for another reality recap. We are talking about Ready to Love. We on episode 3. We're in season 7. The title of this episode is called I Love to Smooch. Yes. So you might notice I'm off camera. Your girl had a chemical peel. You don't want to see all this peeling going on. So I'm going to stay off camera for maybe the next 2 reviews. Maybe I might be on for the next, but definitely this review, we don't want to see what's going on. And hopefully, what it results from this peel is nice, bright, shining skin. So let's go ahead and do the preliminaries. You know, I always like to welcome you back and welcome you to my channel. So, welcome. I'm Absolutely April. And I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. If you love talking about reality shows, if you like talking about love, spiritual tips, anything like that, I'm down for it. So you might as well go ahead and subscribe. Join the tribe. It's a vibe here. You like how I did that? And also go ahead and like the video so I can get put in that algorithm. Also, I'm giving you all this stuff to do, but go ahead and do it. This is a great channel, and I really want everyone to get involved. So I love responding to your comments. So go ahead and comment, speak your piece in the comment section. Also share it with a friend. If you got a friend who likes to talk all things reality and different type of movies and spirituality, then they need to know about me too. So go ahead and share with a friend, share this video. And while you're at it, you might as well hit that notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. So I got all that out the way. Let's go ahead and get into the episode, child. We are on episode 3. And so the ladies are tasked with going being vulnerable and telling their date something that they wouldn't normally discuss on a first or second date. Tommy is tasking them to go deep this episode. So this should be very interesting because a lot of the girls seem to have their guards up. Rightfully so, because once we've been hurt before, we like to kind of put our guards up. We like to, we don't want them to see how soft and supple we are. So we just try to, put up that shield. And we want to see if y'all men are going to do the work to get over those walls so we can put down our walls. And a lot of men don't want to do the work to get through those walls. They just want us to be an open book. And it's not that easy for a lot of us. So be that as it may, Tommy is wanting them to be vulnerable. So Mercedes takes she's going to she plans a date for it called Kangoo, and she invites Mark Anthony, Sue Ann, and Blake. Now, this is Kangoo. They are basically on they have like little boots on, and it's kind of like a trampoline, your own personal trampoline, but you have these boots on. You're hopping around like a kangaroo. So they hopping around. Blake comes in, and once he sees what's going on, he ain't for it. Mark Anthony seems a little timid about it, but Mercedes wanted to invite them to do this because she says, this is the time to. So she likes to, do active things, and you think when you're doing stuff that's active, you kind of open up a little bit. So she's wanting them to open up, but she already knows that Blake is a little off-putting, so she don't know how Blake is going to go, but she's wanting to break down those walls with Mark Anthony. So of course, Blake was giving the whole thing the side eye, which he always does. Blake just has this wet blanket type personality, y'all. I just don't like his personality. He just seems like he has this arrogant. He comes across arrogant, and he comes across like an a-hole. And I don't know if that's how he really is, but that's what he exudes on the screen. And I just don't like it. I really don't. So Mercedes and Mark Anthony, they get kind of flirty. They look really cute together. They even kind of talk a little bit about, Mark Anthony said wants something that's stable. He's bounced around a lot in his life. So he's looking for something a little bit more stable. And Mercedes, kind of understands and she says, yeah, I want something a little bit more stable. And then she goes in and lets him know that, her last relationship resulted in infidelity. And on top of that, a child. So, she has her walls up a little bit, but she's looking for someone who's a little bit more, she wants someone who's trustworthy and that, she can, have a long lasting relationship with because she also looks for stability. Now we go over to Blake and Sue Ann. I like Sue Ann, but Sue Ann, girl, you're giving me pick me vibes. I'm about to call you Pick Misha. You are giving me pick me vibes, unfortunately. But she seems nice. I like her. She has a nice personality from what it comes across. And she is an attorney, so I'm kind of giving you the side eye, Sue Ann, because why are you not checking for what Blake is putting down? Because he just, I don't know, he just don't give sincere and genuine type vibes. So Blake and Sue Ann, they're talking, and he decides to give her a nickname that he wants to use in case of emergencies when they need to break. When he needs to break away, if he needs some help, he can just say Susu. So he gives her the name of Susu, and she just like, oh, she melts. She loves it. She feels special because he gives her a nickname called Susu. So he says when he calls Susu, that means that there's an emergency and she needs to come running. If you, girls, Sue Ann, if you like it, okay, girl, but he would not get the time of day from me. And then furthermore, him talking about, if I like feels like he's more, instead of building a relationship with Sue Ann, he's trying to build an alliance with Sue Ann. So he's expecting her, like, if somebody's trash talking him or if somebody isn't speaking well of him, or if they're in a situation he wants to be taken out of the situation, Susu is his girl. Susu is going to do that for him. But then I don't know if he's fully attracted to her. I don't think he's attracted to really anybody. I'm not catching a vibe from anybody, for anybody in Blake. Comment down below if y'all see him, a budding attraction with anything. Maybe he's just putting on for the cameras. I really don't know, but he just doesn't seem like he is connecting with anybody so far. So we're going on Cynthia, our girl Cynthia. She is on a date with Andre. Andre with his tendril and his man bun and his shag. He has 3 hairstyles in one. But nevertheless, they go for like a paint and sit type situation. He brings the wine, they paint. She says she loves to paint. That's, what gets her in the mood and stuff. So but she also says she wants to figure out what her attraction is to Andre. Girl, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said that, Cynthia, because I'm trying to figure out what you see in Andre too. Because those 3 hairstyles in one would turn me off. But at the same time, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And I guess that's a little superficial. So she's liking Andre's vibe. So, okay, we're going to go with this, Cynthia. We are going to go with you on this and see what happens. So she wants to figure out her attraction to Andre. So as they're, painting and things, and she's asking Andre, what you looking for in a woman? He says he wants a woman, who's soft. He wants a soft woman, So when he says soft, I'm like what? But he's looking for someone, that is receptive, that, is okay with change and okay with allowing him to lead. So Cynthia, once she hears that, she knows this about herself, that, she's a strong woman. She's been through some things. So she does have a guard up. So, she wants to be able to let her guard down, but she wants to let her guard down with the right person. So, she asked Andre, and I thought this was so profound for Cynthia to say. She asked, are you going, if you encounter someone who may not be, where you would like, but would you do the work to get them to, become soft? Are you going to do that work? And she was like, sometimes you just need patience to, break down those walls. And he was like, yeah, I could definitely have the patience to help someone, especially if he's feeling somebody. I could see him having the patience to deal with, to break down those walls and help her to become trusting of him. Um, but Andre, please, if you're not gonna do right by Cynthia, you need to go on about your business, because she seems like she hasn't divulged a lot, but she seems like she's been through a lot. Because as she's talking about, being hard and, and just having to put on that, tough outer shell because of the things she's been through, she starts to cry. She gets real vulnerable, Andre. And so Andre, he does what you should do as a man in this situation. He makes sure she has a tissue. He makes sure, that she's cared for and that she's being heard. So kudos to Andre in this scene, because he really stepped up for Cynthia, and he was someone that she could lean on in this particular time. I do want to caution Cynthia to not put all her eggs in one basket and just think that Andre is the bee's knees, the end all be all, because you are on a dating show and you need to kind of not spread it, but you need to experience other people out there as well, because we all know sometimes when you put your eggs in one basket, it does not always work. It sometimes does, because of course we have Joy and Clifton and some others, but we just definitely you need to see what's out there first, Cynthia, before you just be like, oh, he wiped my tears and he made me feel secure in this when I was vulnerable. So yeah, I'm going to invest everything in him. Don't do that, Cynthia. I feel like Andre will let you down if you do that. So I feel like you should kind of, bounce around, see what's out there. And if Andre is that one, then yes, by all means. So let's see. She, like I said, she's saying that she really wants to be vulnerable, but she just needs to feel safe in order to do that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this part. I thought that Andre was a perfect gentleman, and she just, at this point, she's head over heels over Andre. So let's move on to the next date. We got Corvea and Febreze, Fabric, whatever you want to call them, Uncle Festa. All these names apply to Fabrice. He is definitely a creepy old guy. He and Corvea go bike riding. Fabrice feels like, as they're, riding a bike, he says she seemed like the type, you know, that's going to be self-conscious and worried about her hair and sweating. So he said, he clocks her from a mile away. He's already put her in a box, so to speak. So he feels like he knows Corvea. So Corvea says, what she's looking for in a man. She wants a man who has started and has sold a business. Come to find out, Fabrice has started a fashion line and he has sold it. So she was like, what? She was like, I can't believe this. That's exactly what I've been asking for. And she said, but it's not just for money. He was like, oh, yes, it is. It's for money. You're wanting that because of the money. And so she was like, no, but he does not let her talk. He just basically talks over her and tells her what she is. He says, I already know you. My first love was a Puerto Rican. So I already know, what you're talking, where you're coming from. And he asked her what she does. She says what she likes to do. She says she likes to influence so she's basically a social media influencer. So she likes that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is a lane. That's a lane for somebody who enjoys that type of thing. So yeah, Corvea, go forth and prosper and being an influencer. And basically Fabrice tells her that he understands her more than she can imagine. But he also wonders if she's giving the entirety of herself. And he just feels like he's got her pegged and sees her a mile away. Now, comment below. Now, do you think, because I've heard all of these discussions online about Corvea being a gold digger, or, she's putting it out there that she wants a man of means. Is that wrong for Corvea to do it? Because I feel like now that I'm getting back in the dating pool and wanting to be in a relationship again, I do want a man who has some type of means. I don't want a guy who doesn't is not established, and so to speak. I mean, he doesn't have to be like a millionaire or anything like that. Great if he is, but I do want somebody who has some stability, somewhere, if a provider of some sorts, someone, if I did not want to work, that we would be okay, or should something happen to me, that, our household would be okay and that I can depend on you. I've done the whole struggle love type thing, and I'm honestly, I don't want to really go back to that. I want to move forward. And I want somebody who's a little bit established, who has some things, who has some assets. So I don't see where Corvea is wrong in what she wants. Maybe she's wrong in the approach because she's just being very direct and out there. Like, she's like, this is what I want. I don't want you to have a roommate, check. I don't want you, I want you to have a business, have started and stop the business, check. Like, that's a lot. And so she's getting that in Fabrice. But then you're getting a lot of other stuff with Fabrice too, because Fabrice gives creepy Uncle Festa type vibes, who is, very handsy type guy. So would you take that, or would you take somebody who is like Lyndon, who does have a roommate, but he treats you like a queen? Like, I don't know. So I feel like Corvea, yes, she could have her preferences, but I think that you should also be open to whatever the universe has to offer you, because you could be missing out on someone very, very nice and that would treat you well and that you could possibly fall in love with. So, because, the whole superficial thing, it doesn't last forever. Looks can fade, you can lose money. So you always have to have that foundation, I believe. But I don't think it's anything wrong with, Corvea wanting what she wants. Everybody has their preferences, everybody has their standards. And as long as she's bringing the same thing to the table, like if you're asking someone to be a millionaire, are you a millionaire? Are you established? Have you started and stopped the business? Because you're requesting that of somebody else, but are you that? So that's the kind of thing. Or are you just wanting to be a sugar baby? If that's what you aspire to be, then maybe Ready to Love isn't the show for you. Maybe you need to be in a different type of site, finding a site that gears towards sugar babies, and you could be a sugar baby and be taken care of. I don't know. But saying all that to say, I don't feel like it's wrong for her to have preferences, but I also want her to, if she's requesting that of somebody, you need to be that or close to it. That's what I got to say. Comment down below if you agree or disagree. But I did not like the way Fabrice kind of cut her off. She didn't even get to explain why she wanted a man who had a business, who have started and stopped the business. So hopefully in the reunion, or maybe in another episode, she can explain that more, because I would love to know why she wanted that in a man. But that's what she said she wanted, and Fabrice didn't even give her the time to even talk about it. He just pegged her as a gold digger, and he was okay with her being a gold digger as long as she seems to put out. That's what I got from him. But yeah, I don't know. So moving on to the next day, we have Marcia and Morgan go out with Tony and Lyndon. They have a picnic on the beach, which that would have been up my alley. I wouldn't want to do no kangaroo. I wouldn't want to ride no bikes. That I wouldn't have wanted to do. But being on the beach is my happy place. So doing a picnic on the beach would have been just up my alley. So Morgan tells, so they talk about their task, and Tommy wants them to be vulnerable. So Morgan jumps on in there and she says, "Look, I've never been in love." Now, is this a red flag, y'all? Because Morgan is like 38, 39 years old, and she to never have been in love. Is that a red flag for y'all, or would that be something that you'd be really cautious about getting in a relationship with somebody? I really don't know why you would be on the show trying to look for love if you've never been in love. Like, this probably wouldn't be the setting for that for someone who's never been in love before. Excuse me. I really think that Morgan maybe has experienced love, but I think there's something in her background that makes her confused and not know be solid on what love is. And for her to, I know she's big in the church, so I would say she needs to, read Corinthians, is it 13 or 14, where they talk about what love is. Love is patience, love is kind, love is not looking at the faults and stuff like that, not keeping record of wrongs. I don't know about heart, but that's what it is. So that's maybe what she needs to kind of put her foundation of what love is, because for her to say she's never been in love like that, that's a little iffy for someone to be of that age and never have experienced love, or never, or has she just been career focused this whole time? Like, what's going on? Why? What has happened? So yeah, and Tony made a mention of it. He says he really wants to explore that more and find out why she's never been in love before. Get more details. He doesn't want to say it's a red flag, but it's a red flag for him. So I can definitely see him, kind of wanting to find out a little bit more of why Morgan has never been in love. Is it because she's scared? Is she scared of getting hurt? Has she seen something, maybe with a parent that has just kind of scarred her, and she's just been reluctant to do it because she didn't want to go through that? Like, I would be interested to know what happened, may have happened to her, and why she's reluctant to love. So Lyndon, he and Marcia, they have their little time together. Marcia, says, they haven't talked in a while. And he said, "Yeah, I got your number and I never used it." So she was like, "Okay, so why haven't you used it?" And he said, because of the job, his hours and blah, blah, blah. And she, Marcia shuts him down, as she should have, and says, you make time for what you want to make time for. And that's the truth. If you really want to talk to somebody, you're going to make time to talk to that person. That's just the period, point blank. You're gonna make time to talk to somebody if you really want to get with them or get to know them. You will make that time. You will send a text. You will do something. You get a break, Lyndon. You get a break. So when you coming back home, you can send, a good morning text. And when she wakes up, she can get it, or something like that. When you get a chance, give me a call. I'm usually here at such and such time. I didn't want to miss you, or something. Like, you gotta put in some work, Lyndon. It just ain't gonna come to you. So at this point, I'll tell you why she's making this face. So she was telling him, to, seize the moment, to make the most of these opportunities and stuff. So he said, "Oh, so I'm going to make the most of this. Can I make the most of this opportunity?" So he leans in to kiss her. She's like, "Oh," she's like, "No, like, that's not what I meant." So she kind of rejects him, and he's basically in that. That's the title of the episode, "I'm a Smoocher." He basically says, sometimes he reads the he reads the body language wrong, and he goes in for a kiss, and it may not be the right time. So he basically says that he's a smoocher. So that's where the title of the episode came from. But he took it in stride. He didn't get embarrassed. He didn't get combative or anything. He didn't blame her. He really took it in stride and laughed it off. I thought it was a cute look. It was cute, but Marcia she was like, "Oh, no, I'm not trying to kiss. That's not where we were going." So I thought that was hilarious, and this is her face when he does that. So moving on, let's see. We got Tony and Morgan. They take their time to talk. So Morgan asked Tony, what kind of man, will he be in her life? And he says he wants to make her safe and secure. He basically says, he's a man of God and all this kind of stuff, and she says, oh, good, because that's what I've been looking for, a man who loves Jesus. So she wants a man who has a relationship with Jesus. I'm pretty sure Tony at this point senses that Morgan is someone who wants a guy who is in the church just as much as she is. So it almost seems to me that he's using that. He's playing up to that a little bit more, which is fine, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, is it being manipulative at this point? So he says, Morgan, she's kind of at this point, she's not really side eyeing Tony, but she notices that Tony is a smooth talker. And, some of the other ladies has the same interactions with Tony, with him being smooth with them. And she wants to know, is he being genuine with me, or is he just saying the things that I want to hear? So I'm glad Morgan is thinking with her head at this point and being a little bit more logical, and not putting her eggs in one basket with Tony. And she's, seeing things for what they are at this point. She seems to be very logical, and not being, whisked away because he's saying, he's talking about Jesus, and I love Jesus. There's something about the name Jesus. And, but I don't want him to use Jesus as a manipulation tactic to get with Morgan. I just don't want that for her. And especially if she's never been in love before, I don't want her first experience of love to be somebody who has has been a sham of a guy. So now we move on. Jeffrey and Demario. Jeffrey meets Demario. They go to a ranch. As you can see, he has on boots, and those boots indicate that they're about to be riding horses. But he looks like he has on rain boots. They don't look like riding boots. So he, nevertheless, he puts on his boots. He was kind of like, why are we riding horses in Miami? Good question, Demario. But Jeffrey says that her uncle or something had a farm, and she loved to ride horses back in the day. Um, Now, as they're riding the horse, Jeffrey, for her to have experience with the horses, she seemed to be less experienced, and Demario seems to have a little bit more experience, and the horse didn't seem to like her too much. And horses know people. They they know people. They can pick up on people's energies. So I don't know if the horse just wasn't feeling Jeffrey, but that's definitely what she was. The horse was kind of skittish with her and kind of being a little wild. But they seem to enjoy their time as they're riding and stuff. I wouldn't mind doing it. Now I'm pretty sure it was hot out there, but I wouldn't mind getting doing horseback riding for a date. Or something like that. Now, Jeffrey, I like Jeffrey so far, but something when she was talking, and she was talking about her parent or her uncle with the farm and stuff. I don't know why I got a lying vibe from her. Like, for some reason, I got this vibe that she kind of lies or embellishes. I don't know why, because when she was talking, I just, my real Housewives of Potomac people, any Bravo people who's listening, y'all know Housewives of Potomac, Mia. Mia got a little lion spirit on her. And as Jeffrey was talking, it was like, as I was closing my eyes, I was like, who does she put me in a mindset of? And I was like, Mia just came up to my mind. And I was like, yes, what is it about Mia? And I don't know if it's just, I don't know. It's because Mia got a lion spirit, so I don't know if Jeffrey got a little embellishment spirit as well on her. But that's just the vibe I was getting. Comment down below if you understand what I'm saying, understand what I'm putting down, because yeah, Jeffrey was giving me those vibes. But so far, I like her, and I don't want to say that she's a liar because she's not. I don't have proof, but it's just a little vibe, that I got from her. So moving on to the next day, we got Lyndon and what's her name? Jonique. I think that's her name, Jonique. I like Jonique, and she is probably the one that most people characterize as being a little hood. But I just feel like, she might be a little rough around the edges, but girl got it going on. She got her own business and stuff. The last episode, she was getting in her car and she was in a G wagon, a nice white G wagon. So she about her business. So make no mention, she may be a little hood or come across like that, but girl know what she doing with her business. I do know that. So that's all that matters. And I like her. I like her. I get a good vibe from her. I feel like she's genuine. And I feel like she ain't here to play no games. So she asked Lyndon to a wine bar. She felt like that would be both of their alleys. She likes wine, and he's a bartender. So she said that would be perfect for them to do and to experience together. So so Jonique asked, if the job, if, what Lyndon does, she brought up the fact that would that fit into a relationship? And he was like, yeah. He said he can see it fitting into a relationship. And Jonique said she didn't have a problem with it either because she said, she likes to get lit. She likes to turn up. She likes to go out. So she could feel like that they can do that together. That's something that they can experience together should they be in a relationship. So definitely his job of being a bartender or being in the club at nights is not a big deal for her. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes with her and Lyndon. They seem to kick it off real, pretty decently. And he didn't try to kiss nobody. Thank God. Lyndon kept his lips to himself. But they had a nice little relationship. I don't know. I don't know if they connected, but I think they see eye to eye. And it could possibly go to some. It could possibly go somewhere. So, meanwhile, Jeffrey, it flashes back to Jeffrey and Demario talking. Jeffrey and Demario, they are talking, and she asked him, does he have any issues with dating a woman with kids? And he said no. He said, I would, he said, even though I don't have kids, I wouldn't mind helping you with yours. Now, Demario, don't get the line. This girl, how many kids she got? I think she got 2 or 3 kids. No, you don't. You don't want, you as a man with no kids do not want a woman with a whole bunch of kids. I don't see that, Demario. I don't see that working for you. So don't write a check that your butt can't cash. If she's asking you to be honest, you need to be honest. Let's see. Let's go on. Let's see. So Tommy goes, now the ladies go back to the lounge. And Tommy, gets the lay of the land, how she want to see how their dates are going. And so the ladies are talking about their different dates. Mercedes says she likes that Mark Anthony is really trying to shoot his shot with her, like he's being intentional with her, and he's letting it be know that he wants her. Sue Ann tells the ladies that Blake gave her a little nickname, Sue. I'm telling you, she's giving me pick Misha. Sue Ann, I don't want you to be a pick Misha. Please don't be a pick Misha. But that's the vibe she's giving me. So Marcia goes on and tells the lady that Lyndon tried to kiss her. So yeah, that's how she feels about that. And but she said, he took the rejection well. Now Cynthia tells the ladies, that she ended up crying in front of Andre. So, that was a big deal for her. So Jeffrey says Demario gives husband energy. So I don't know why he gives husband energy. Jeffrey, be careful, girl. I don't know if Demario is the one. Don't believe them light eyes. Don't believe him. And I'm not saying anything bad about people with light eyes, but he just give me like he was just saying whatever he needed to say. Cynthia feels that Tony is shifty and really be talking about nothing. So she had showed like how he be moving to the side and stuff, and she said he don't be saying nothing. So this so this is what Morgan looks like when she said that, like she can't stand that. That's Morgan. Morgan likes Tony, and so she does not like to hear that. So on the screen right now, that's Morgan's face when Cynthia says that. So Marcia ends up bringing not Fabrice in his sexual activities or, just bringing it up a lot. So all the other women were definitely kind of in agreement of, the things that he's been saying. It's been definitely off-putting to them and they don't really like it. I mean, not too many women like you just being so forward and sexual. Like that's a turn off unless you want to get some person who's on that type of level. As far as Fabrice, it's a type of woman that likes Fabrice, a type of woman who is free in her sexuality, who, doesn't mind doing one night stands. That's the type of woman Fabrice wants. And that's not the girl that's on the show. He wants girls that don't mind the hookup. We vibe and we hook up. That's the type of girl that he likes. That's his aesthetic. That's why he talks about sex. Some girl would be enamored with the stuff that he talks about. And he would probably fly her out. They would have a whirlwind romance. And when he's done, he's done. He needs to find himself a little sugar baby that wants to do that kind of stuff. That the girl that he was looking for was definitely not on this show. So let's go move on. So Morgan ends up speaking about Blake attacking her because she wants kids. So and he did one last episode. Or I think that was the first episode when she said that she wants a kid. He just kind of got really combative with her. So she brought that up. She was like, Blake is on her bottom because how you gonna attack me because I want kids? And I don't blame her. Jeffrey reveals that Blake told her that he found he feels like she's the one and he hates that he has to go through this process when he knows he's already found the one. And again, this is why I said Blake gives, I don't know about Blake, y'all. And I believe he might have said something like that to Jeffrey. Like I told you, Jeffrey gives me a little lion spirit, but I believe he said something to that effect to her that, he likes her. And I can see why Blake would go for Jeffrey because Jeffrey already has kids. So he does not want kids. So he would make sense. It would make sense for him to pursue someone who already has kids and does not want kids because he doesn't want any more kids. So I can believe he's talked to Jeffrey like that, but as soon as Jeffrey brought that up, Sue Ann got in her feelings and she was just like, I can't believe that. That hasn't been her experience with Blake. And because Jeffrey talked about like he wants to know, where she is and he's kind of being a little controlling with her, like who's in her top, where she's been when she leaves and when she comes back, he wants to keep, tabs on her. So she feels that's a little bit controlling and that they're in a relationship, that's given a relationship and they're not in a relationship. And Tommy agreed with Jeffrey. So if that's all true, yeah, Blake is doing a little bit too much. But Sue Ann says, the controlling behavior has definitely not been her experience with Blake. Okay, Sue Ann. So Tommy tells them that they have the authority to give someone a second chance, but it has to be unanimous decision amongst the girls if they do extend the second chance to somebody as a lifeline. So Marcia ends up meeting with Fabrice. And poor Marcia, because as soon as he walks in, they sharing pleasantries and I hope you're glad to see me and blah blah blah. So he says yes, and then he talks about her breast. He compliments her breast, and he's reaching over like showing like making a motion towards her breast, and she's like no, like Fabrice, you are teetering on the line of sexual harassment. Like, you are not in France, my dude. You are not in France. Please don't do that. You need to find whoever your tribe is, whatever type of girl you like, and pursue that. Because this ain't it. You're going to get yourself into a world of trouble. You might want to go back to France with this. You don't want to be stuck in the US acting like this because somebody can hem you up, Fabrice. You're gonna be in someone's jail cell. So yeah, so Marcia is like he, telling him like, no, do not reference that. You're making me feel bad. Should I put them up? He's like, no, they're beautiful. Don't put them up. You brought them out for a reason. So so I know some people were asking like, is that a thing? Like, should you, if you wear your, showing, a little bit of cleavage, are you wanting, you're doing that because you want to be seen? And I guess that is, you want to be seen and, and confident and you want to, appear sexy. But that doesn't give you the right to come up to me and talk to me about my breasts. Like that's a little bit overstepping. Unless we have that type of relationship and we, go back and forth like that. She don't know Fabrice like that, and he don't know her. Like that's crazy. So, so he feels like Fabrice is like, sex is important in relationship, and people are not, people are just being sex, people are just being surface, and stuff, and it's an important thing in a relationship, and people just don't want to explore that side. So moving in the next day, Sue Ann and Blake is there, and she, tells the lady, Sue Ann tells Blake that the ladies find him combative and off-putting, and then says that Jeffrey revealed to them in the lounge that he's chosen her, and Blake says, that that she is his. He doesn't really want to do the process, which he didn't have to do the process because he already knows that she's the one. So this is the face he made when she says that. I think Blake said something. I don't know what Blake said, but he definitely said something to Jeffrey. However, Sue Ann, here's the pick me vibes that I'm saying that I'm getting from you. The ladies' lounge, as well as the men's lounge, is very sacred. You should not be telling Blake what specific lady said what in there. You should just give him an overall high level of what was going on in the ladies' lounge, not to give who, a play by play of who said what. So again, Suanne went to do that. Suanne, you an attorney. I expect more from you, girl. I heard you work for Ben Crump. I know he don't hire no shabby lawyers. So you are making me nervous. So either you just really want Blake to pick you or something. Like you're making me nervous, Suanne. So back to Fabrice. Fabrice tells Marcia that he lived in France for a long time, so it's a lot more free there. Excuses, 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 Fabrice. You still know how to conduct yourself. I know you watch the news. I know you've seen Harvey Weinstein. I know you've seen Bill Cosby. I know you've seen R. Kelly. You've seen different people with this whole sexual harassment thing. So this is not an excuse for you to be around here telling people that, talking about their breasts, talking about sex and being overly sexual with people that don't want to be with you like that. That's ridiculous, Fabrice. Totally ridiculous. So he just tells Marcia it has to be a cultural clash, and that is nothing wrong with anything he says. Like this is his face he's making in his outro confessional. Like it's just a culture clash. I've lived in France for a long time. Boo boo blah 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 blah. Excuses are tools of incompetence. Whatever. Fabrice, at your big age, because you got to be about 55, you should know better. You should know better. So, at this point, Fabrice knows he's going home. Bye, Fabrice. Bye. So this is where Sue Ann, she's telling Blake that they see more in him, and so for Blake, in all his arrogance, after he finds out that he is sticking around, he says that he's going to even be more rough with the ladies, and and create some more boundaries after hearing what Jeffrey said. So, Anne, were you doing that on purpose? Were you trying to cause a rift between him and Jeffrey? What was you trying to do? I think you got some up your sleeve, Sue Ann. I really do. I think you got some up your sleeve because I'm looking at this laugh and it looks very sinister. So I think you meant to do that. I think you meant to mess up their connection. And if there was a connection, you was gonna make sure it wasn't anymore. So that's probably why you name dropped Jeffrey. So I'm looking at you sideways. So and so she tells Blake at this point, I'm so happy that you didn't choose, Jeffrey, that you've given all of us a chance. Girl, whatever, Sue Ann. Girl, you are borderline pick me, and you being very sinister. I think you did that on purpose to mess up the connection that Blake, if there was a possible connection, you made sure that that was going to cause a rift between them. So kudos, but what you got? Blake, girl, he ain't all of that. So, y'all, that is the episode of Ready to Love, episode 3, season 7. I'm a smoocher. I enjoyed it. What would you rate this episode? I would say I would give it about an 8. I would give it 8, 8.5. What would you rate it? Comment down below. Let me know. Also, if you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Like the video, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. And until the next video, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.